These are the men of the 3rd Infantry, shown here in the annual theatrical production, The Spirit of America, which traces the role of the Army in the history and growth of the nation. Founded by the Continental Congress in 1784, the 3rd Infantry is the Army's oldest active infantry unit. It has fought in every major American conflict since the Revolution. As it marched through Mexico City near the end of the Mexican-American War, General Winfield Scott gave it its famous name, the Old Guard. After World War II, the Old Guard became the Army's official ceremonial unit and personal escort to presidents of the United States. The Old Guard is stationed at Fort Myer, Virginia, just outside the nation's capital. The members of this elite unit take special pride in what they do. They know they are the honor guard of some of the nation's finest traditions.
Well, I would definitely recommend the Old Guard to a friend, you know, because I've been in the Old Guard, and I like it here. I really do. And most of my friends, you know, usually associate with people with your same ability, same intelligence. Like
it's exciting to see all the people. And after you get out there, it's not too bad. One nice thing, when we rehearse, we do so much rehearsing that after a while, just like with the ceremonies, it becomes automatic almost. And you don't worry so much about what you're going to do. It's just a matter of getting up enough nerve to go out there in front of them. And that's not too hard to do, really, if you're a ham. And I am.
If you're a fairly well-coordinated person, you know, maybe play athletic, play a bit or a little bit athletic, and you got a good mind and you don't want to go out and fight people, you know, it might take you 2 or 3 weeks, something like this, to become ceremonially qualified. The only advice would be that you got to come out there with an attitude, you know, that if you want to learn it and get it over with, you know. And after that, then you can just practice it.
You really don't have to be a gun in order to be in the Old Guard. All you have to be is positive, have a positive attitude.
Before I came in the Army, I never expected I'd be out there doing it. Like when I was marching in Inaugural Parade, it was cold to start off with, but I don't know, you take a certain amount of personal pride in doing all these things. It's it just seemed like you're one step ahead of everybody else in the Army, being in this unit.
Well, I take a great deal of pride in doing a good job, you know. I feel like he does, you know. Once you're out there, you know, I feel like I'm one step ahead of the average infantryman. Like, because these parades, I mean, it's really, you have to be very rigid in your actions and all. And you can't, like, sometimes you want to turn your head or something, you just can't. It really gets kind of hard. Like, sometimes I try to put myself into the role of the receptee of the ceremony. And I'd like to think that whoever is pulling a ceremony for me, if I ever had a ceremony pulled, that they would do a good job. And to know that when I'm going back to the barracks that I did, you know, the best I could, and the whole unit as a whole did really good. And I feel, you know, a very, very deep sense of pride and accomplishment.
Basically what you have to do is work, and don't come with the attitude that you're going to be in the Army and you're ruin 2 years of your life or 3 years of your life. But to come here with the idea that you're going to get something done, you're with the unit that you can get something done with. You can really be proud of yourself when you get out.
Settle down! Stand by! 2, 3!
The salute gun platoon uses 75mm cannon to provide the traditional salute honoring national dignitaries, military leaders, and visiting heads of state. As members of the marching platoons, honor cordons, and color teams, Old Guardsmen participate in more than 70 White House ceremonies every year.
It's a pretty rewarding experience because we're generally the center of every ceremony. They always play the national anthem or advance the colors or something at the beginning of every ceremony. And then through the ceremony, we do our leftabouts and things. And then we always become the center of the ceremony again. As we are retired, everybody stands up, and as we walk off, they usually clap and everything, and it usually makes you feel pretty good.
As an infantry unit, the Old Guard must be kept combat ready at all times. In the spring, the unit goes out for weapons qualification, a 12-mile road march, and a concentrated course of infantry training. It also takes part in a special project called adventure training. It's rugged and challenging.
I heard about it, the Old Guard, when I was in AIT. I heard that they had horses here. And then I thought I'd like to get into it. You've got 30 men, and you've got about 30 horses, and it's not like just 30 personalities, it's like 60 actually, because each horse has his own personality down there.
Among the horses used by the Old Guard is famous Old Blackjack, the last of the Army's cavalry horses. At the time this film was made, Blackjack was 26 years old. Getting ready for a full honor funeral is a demanding job.
After we've got both our horses cleaned, we go in the tack room and polish off our brass, clean it. Usually the tack's been cleaned the night before. If it hasn't, if we have a late job that day, sometimes we'll clean it the same day. And the tack's all clean, then we polish the brass off, the brass pieces on there. After that's done, we begin to tack up the horses. We put the blanket and the breast collar on, usually the breast collar first. It just goes over their head. We take and put the blanket and the saddle on and the girth and tighten those up part way so they're not really tight, hurting the horse, or not, they don't hurt them, but it's just a little uncomfortable standing in there. We leave it loose. Then we put the tail piece on, which goes underneath the tail, and it just kind of holds the whole thing together, the saddle on and everything. And we have what we call tracers to hold the horses together. And then we bridle up and take them out and hook them up to the caisson before we leave, just before we leave.
The Old Guard participates in state funerals for presidents and national dignitaries and conducts the solemn rites at funerals in Arlington National Cemetery.
We're the ones that render the 21-gun, the volleys for the passed away person. And Tom is with the casket team.
Okay, our function is as casket bearers. What we do, we're the ones that handle the casket in Arlington Cemetery. We take it out of the hearse on simple ceremonies, take it to the gravesite, and put it on the gravesite with a brief ceremony there and the firing of the firing party. The biggest jobs we have are called caissons. What we do there is we take the casket from a chapel or from a hearse, put it on the caisson, and march next to the caisson through the cemetery to the plot. And there we have another brief ceremony where we put the casket down, firing party, and flag folding. You have to have the appearance of being serious because it is a very solemn ceremony, and people are quite grieved over what has just happened, you know, the death.
In slow cadence. Forward. Forward.
Playing music in the revolutionary style, practicing frequently, marching at a stately cadence, and performing nationwide are all part of the activities of the Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps.
Right now we're teaching a little kids corps at a Legion post up in Arlington.
I've been into it for 10 years, and it's part of my life.
Been with it, 10 years now, and my cousin, he's also in the Fife and Drum Corps here. He heard about it first, and then he brought me there the next week, and Tom came a couple months later, and my other brother John, who's also here. And we've all been playing together for a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Specialist Crockett of the United States Army, commander of the relief, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It is requested that everyone remain silent and standing during the changing of the guard. All military personnel in uniform should render the hand salute on the commands of present arms. Thank you.
You don't think about the idea of all the military medals and the military funeral and the great military honors, the 21-gun salutes, everything that goes in to the idea of military pageantry around honoring a dead hero. The unknown soldier could be just like you. He's someone who came into the Army, who was killed in action, anonymously, and just part of another platoon. I don't know, I get a personal feeling there. You know, he's like me, he just is.
Forward! Halt! Guard! Halt! Ready? Raise that. Halt! 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 Ready? Halt! Pass on your orders. Halt! And orders remain as directed. Orders acknowledged. Ready? Halt! Freeze and halt!
The Old Guard's drill team is an elite unit renowned for its precision marching and intricate maneuvers. During the summer months, Torchlight Tattoo is presented at the Jefferson Memorial in the nation's capital. The program includes precision marching, music, and historical pageantry, concluding with a dramatic presentation of the national and state flags. Older than the Constitution, the 3rd Infantry was born out of the struggle for independence. Its exploits are forever written in the history of the nation. Today, the Old Guard carries out its unique duties in the nation's capital, proud of its heritage and ever mindful of its responsibilities. When one says, "I am a member of the Old Guard," he has said it all. For the Old Guard, in the finest sense, is the honor guard of the nation's traditions,